So mark your calendars for August 2, 2026.
Which is exactly 5 months from today.
Yeah, exactly 5 months. And honestly, if you manage any kind of physical project, or if you're anywhere near the construction industry, that date is about to become incredibly important to you.
Oh, absolutely.
So welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a really comprehensive market intelligence report today that looks at the European Union's AI Act.
Right.
And specifically, its impending and frankly massive impact on the construction industry. And you might be thinking, I'm building high-rises in Chicago.
Or, subdivisions in Texas.
Exactly. Like, why should you care what regulators in Brussels are doing?
Yeah.
Well, the mission of this deep dive is to show you exactly why this isn't just a European problem.
And that really is the core issue we're tackling today. Because even if you are a contractor who has, never swung a hammer in Europe.
Or never even plans to bid on a European project.
Right. This legislation is absolutely coming for your tech stack. We're going to look at what exactly is being regulated, why American contractors need to care right now, and the practical steps you need to take to prepare.
Because it's not some distant hypothetical.
Exactly. It's an immediate global shift in how construction technology is going to operate.
Yeah. So to set the stage, I think we really need to look at the sheer scale of what is happening on job sites right now. Because the numbers in this report are just staggering.
They really are.
The European AI and construction market alone is jumping from $1.8 billion to $11.4 billion by the year 2034.
Wow.
Right. We are looking at a 26% compound annual growth rate. And to me, that says this technology's moved way past the experimental phase.
It has. I mean, when you see a compound annual growth rate of 26% in an industry that is traditionally very slow to adopt new tech, it means AI on the job site is officially mainstream. It's no longer just a niche tool for early adopters or, massive mega projects.
Right, it's hitting the mid-market.
Exactly. It's rapidly becoming the standard operating procedure for mid-sized contractors, too. And whenever a technology transitions from a novelty to an industry standard, especially in an industry as inherently dangerous and complex as construction.
And high liability.
Yes, high liability. Regulators are naturally going to step in. They see billions of dollars flowing into automated systems that are actively managing job sites, and they want guardrails in place before something goes wrong.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So hearing those massive numbers, I think it's easy to panic.
Oh, for sure.
To think that every single piece of software with a microchip is suddenly illegal or requires an army of lawyers. But we need to look at what the EU is actually targeting here because they're being surprisingly specific.
Very targeted.
Because the phrase AI gets thrown around as a buzzword for just about everything right now.
Right.
But the legislation really zeroes in on what they call safety-critical applications.
That's the key phrase.
Yeah. So if you are using AI-powered safety cameras to monitor a site, or automated scheduling software that actively assigns specific workers to specific high-risk tasks, you are firmly on their radar.
Absolutely.
And the same goes for predictive analytics used for human resources.
Like hiring and firing decisions.
Exactly. Or computer vision systems used for progress tracking.
The underlying philosophy of the EU AI Act becomes very clear when you look at that specific list. The law specifically targets automated decision-making that impacts human safety and human livelihoods.
Right.
Regulators care deeply about the moments when a machine is making a call that could affect a person's physical well-being or their paycheck.
Which is fair.
Very fair. If an algorithm is deciding who gets put on a dangerous crane operation shift, or if a camera is constantly tracking a worker's movements to assess their productivity, that is exactly where the EU draws the line. They are demanding to know how the machine is arriving at those conclusions.
Okay, let me push back on that for a second, just to represent the listener who might be feeling a little stressed right now.
Go for it.
Let's imagine a really specific, gritty scenario. It's a freezing Tuesday morning in Chicago. Concrete is pouring, everyone is rushing.
Standard Tuesday.
Right. And an automated safety camera system flags a worker for taking off their safety goggles for 10 seconds just to wipe away sweat.
Okay.
And the software automatically blocks them from being assigned to the next premium shift.
Yeah.
Who is supposed to review that? Like if I'm a mid-sized contractor with a 50-person crew, this sounds like an absolute nightmare of administrative red tape.
It sounds awful.
Right. Are they basically pricing smaller builders out of using new tech by demanding a lawyer review every single camera alert.
That is a completely valid concern. And it is exactly why the distinction between a fully automated decision and an AI-assisted decision is so critical in this legislation.
Okay, break that down.
The EU is not saying you can't use the camera. They're saying the camera cannot be the final judge, jury, and executioner regarding that worker's shift.
Oh, I see.
So to ease the overwhelm, the report outlines what we can essentially call the safe zone. Not every piece of software you use is going to trigger this heavy scrutiny.
Thank goodness.
Right. Basic automation is not covered. Symbol calculators, standard project management software, basically anything that doesn't use AI to independently make complex decisions leaves you totally in the clear.
Okay, so if my software is just adding up material costs or letting a superintendent manually drag and drop a schedule on an iPad, I can breathe easy.
Precisely. If the human is still fully in the driver's seat making the call, the AI Act is much less concerned. It is the independent, automated decision-making regarding safety or workforce management that triggers the heavy regulation.
Got it.
So in your Chicago example, if your system flags the worker without the goggles, but a human foreman actually reviews the footage and makes the real decision about the next shift, you're operating within a much safer regulatory framework.
Because the AI is an assistant, not the boss.
Exactly. The human is in the loop.
That distinction makes a lot of sense. But here's where we need to look at the broader map. I really want to introduce what I call the GDPR parallel.
Oh, this is a great comparison.
Let's rewind a few years. When the European Union passed the General Data Protection Regulation GDPR, everyone in the US thought, oh, that's just European data privacy rules.
Doesn't apply to us.
Right. We operate in Ohio, not Germany.
Yeah.
And then, seemingly overnight, every single American website suddenly had a cookie banner pop up.
Yep.
Every company had to rewrite their privacy policies. The internet fundamentally changed for everyone, everywhere.
Yeah.
And from what the sources are saying, the EU AI Act is going to do the exact same thing to global construction tech vendors.
That is the perfect analogy. You have to think about this from the perspective of the software vendors you rely on every day.
Right, the big tech companies.
Massive construction tech companies are not going to build one Wild West version of their software for the United States and a totally different, highly regulated, compliant version for Europe.
No, that would be a nightmare to maintain.
It's far too expensive and complex to maintain two entirely separate code bases. They are going to change their tools globally to comply with the strictest common denominator.
Which means the interface you log into in Texas is going to change because of a law passed in Brussels.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the software interfaces changing, too.
Right, because if you're a U.S. contractor, you might have direct compliance obligations much sooner than you think.
Absolutely. If you use AI tools on any project that involves European clients or even European supply chain partners, you have compliance obligations immediately upon that August 2026 enforcement date.
Wow.
You cannot escape this just by keeping your physical job site in the U.S. Furthermore, the market intelligence makes it abundantly clear that American regulation will inevitably follow.
Right. It's not if, it's when.
The U.S. government is watching very closely to see how this plays out in Europe.
And to show you that this is truly a global movement and not just some isolated European quirk, our sources brought in a fascinating example from halfway across the world. So yes, Singapore. They are acting like the canary in the coal mine for construction tech regulation. And what they are doing is wild.
Their approach is incredibly aggressive. It really gives us a preview of where global infrastructure policy is heading.
Because they aren't just reacting to AI, right? They aren't just trying to regulate it.
No, they are actively mandating automation. Singapore has instituted strict labor quotas for construction.
Labor quotas?
Yes. They are essentially telling contractors, you cannot just throw 50 more manual laborers at a problem. You must use less physical labor and more technology.
That completely flips the script. Instead of tech being an optional upgrade, it becomes a legal necessity just to get the building out of the ground.
Exactly. And they go even further. Singapore has a jaw-dropping requirement that 80% of their public buildings must feature smart tech by the year 2030.
Okay, what does smart tech actually mean in that context? Are we talking about like automated HVAC systems or something deeper?
It means the entire building life cycle must be digitized. We're talking about predictive maintenance sensors built directly into the concrete.
Into the concrete itself.
Yes. AI-driven energy management systems, automated security protocols. By forcing the industry to modernize at that scale, the Singaporean government inevitably forces the industry to adopt AI.
Because you can't manage that much data manually.
Exactly. And when you mandate AI adoption across 80% of public infrastructure, you simultaneously necessitate incredibly strict rules on how that AI operates.
Who owns the data? How safe is it?
Exactly. It proves that governments globally are no longer looking at construction technology as just software. They are treating it as a matter of national infrastructure and national security.
Okay, so the storm is clearly coming. The regulations are written, the software vendors are adapting, and global governments are mandating these changes.
But the writing is on the wall.
If I'm listening to this and running a construction firm, I need a survival guide. How do contractors actually get ahead of this before August 2026? What is the roadmap?
The report outlines a very specific 4-step action plan for contractors. Okay?
And this is designed to get a 2-year head start on U.S. compliance. But before we get to the steps, you really have to understand the core rule of this new era.
Lay it on us.
The heavy lifting of the EU AI Act basically boils down to one word: documentation.
Of course it does.
Always paperwork, right?
Yeah.
If you are going to use AI tools that fall under those covered categories, the safety and workforce management tools, you must explicitly document 3 things.
Okay.
First, how the tools work. Second, what data they are using to make their decisions. And third, how humans review the AI's decisions.
So no more mystery algorithms.
Exactly. You can no longer treat an AI platform as a magic black box. You have to open the hood and prove to an auditor that you know exactly what the engine is doing.
So it's not enough that the tool works, you have to prove you understand why it works.
Right.
Walk us through the first step of the plan.
Step 1 is the audit. You need to sit down and meticulously list every single AI tool your company currently uses.
Wait, isn't that just a matter of having the IT department print out our software billing statements? If only it were that simple. You have to watch out for shadow IT.
Shadow IT.
Yeah. This happens when a project manager on a specific site swipes a company credit card for a cool new AI progress tracking tool without telling corporate.
Well, that happens all the time.
All the time. You need a comprehensive list of what is actually being used in the field. The report calls out specific examples to look for tools like OpenSpace for 360-degree site capture, or BillDots for automated progress tracking.
Right.
Or even the new AI features being integrated directly into massive platforms like Procore. You have to ask, are you using AI scheduling algorithms? Are you using AI safety cameras? You have to write it all down. You cannot manage what you haven't measured.
That makes total sense. So once I have this massive list of every tool my team is using, what do I do with it?
That moves us to step 2. Understand. You need to analyze what decisions each of those tools makes or influences.
So grading the tools, basically.
Yeah. Yes. This is where you classify the risk level of your tech stack. Ask yourself the hard questions. Is this tool safety critical? Is it actively monitoring my workers' movements on the site? Does it generate recommendations for who should be assigned to a hazardous task?
Sorting them into buckets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to categorize which software falls into the EU's high-risk bucket and which is just a basic calculator.
And once I've isolated the high-risk tools, I assume step 3 is where the actual procedural changes happen.
Yes. Step 3 is create. This is where you build a formal, documented human review process for any safety or workforce decisions generated by those high-risk AI systems.
The human in the loop.
Exactly. If the software flags a worker for a safety violation, you need a documented chain of command detailing which human superintendent reviews that footage before any disciplinary action is taken.
Got it.
If the AI generates a complex project schedule, you need to prove which human manager reviewed and signed off on it before it went live to the subcontractors.
I can hear the collective groan of project managers everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
This sounds like a massive bottleneck. Are we just adding layers of bureaucracy that slow the job site down?
It really doesn't have to be a bottleneck if the human review is integrated smoothly into the software workflow, which we will discuss in a second. The goal isn't to redo the AI's work.
Right.
The goal is to have a human in the loop who bears ultimate responsibility. Which brings us to step 4. Document.
Put it on paper.
You need to start writing all of this down right now. Create the manuals, update your standard operating procedures, and the psychology of this 4-step exercise is really crucial to understand. This isn't about fear or alarmism.
It's not just checking a box for the government.
No, it's not about panicking over red tape from regulators. It's entirely about competitive positioning.
Let's talk about the bottom line, because getting ahead of this isn't just about avoiding some massive regulatory fine. It's about making money and winning bids.
When you look at who is handing out the most lucrative construction contracts right now, universities, hospital networks, government entities, massive tech companies building hyperscale data centers.
Huge projects.
Huge. And those institutional clients are obsessed with risk management. When they put out requests for proposals in 2026 and beyond, they're going to demand strict adherence to data security and AI regulations.
They won't even look at you if you aren't compliant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Contractors who have spent the last 2 years building up this muscle memory, who can walk into a pitch meeting and hand over a pristine documentation trail demonstrating responsible AI use, they will be the ones who win those bids.
Because they look safer.
The clients will look at your compliance framework and see you as a significantly safer bet than the competitor who treats AI like a Wild West experiment.
So the obvious question is, how do you actually do this? How do you maintain this level of pristine documentation without drowning your project management team in administrative paperwork?
Right, without ruining their week.
Exactly. And to answer that, I want to look at the source material for this deep dive. The market intelligence report we're unpacking actually comes from a platform called Smart Business Automator, or SBA. They are highlighted in the research as a prime case study of a compliance-ready AI platform. And I want to explore their capabilities not as a software commercial, but as an objective look at what modern, responsible, regulated AI actually looks like mechanically.
That's the perfect way to approach it. We really need to look at the mechanics of compliance.
So let's take one of their features, document intelligence. Construction specs and architectural drawings are notoriously dense.
Sometimes hundreds of pages of PDFs.
Easily. A platform like SBA uses AI to extract hidden details, detect conflicting specs, and organize everything automatically. But from a regulatory standpoint, how does a tool like that avoid the black box problem you mentioned earlier?
It solves it through built-in traceability. A platform built for this new era of compliance features transparent decision-making at its very core.
So it shows its work.
Exactly. When an AI tool extracts a detail about a conflicting doorframe spec from a 500-page document, it can't just spit out an alert. It provides a direct link or a highlight to the exact paragraph and page it pulled that data from.
So you can verify it instantly.
Right. The documentation is automatic because the system tracks its own logic trail. And crucially, it fulfills the EU's mandate for human oversight natively within the software.
How does it do that?
Well, the AI drafts the summary of the conflicting spec, but the system actually requires the human project manager to hit review and approve before that data becomes actionable.
Oh, that's smart.
It fulfills the how it works, what data it uses, and human review requirement without requiring the project manager to fill out a separate form.
That makes a lot of sense. The compliance is just baked right into the user interface.
Yeah.
You are doing the work and creating the audit trail simultaneously.
Seamlessly.
And the report highlights that SBA goes a lot further into complex analysis too.
Yes, and this is where the concept of integrations becomes absolutely vital. The report mentions that tools like SBA use custom API integrations to connect to existing accounting software and ERPs.
Let's pause there for a second, because not everyone listening is a software architect. What exactly does it mean to connect via API to an ERP?
Fair point. Think of an API, an application programming interface, as a secure digital bridge between two different pieces of software. It basically allows them to talk to each other and share data automatically.
Oh.
And an ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. That is just the massive central software system a company uses to manage its core business.
Things like payroll, accounting, supply chain, human resources.
Exactly. So when an AI platform connects to your ERP via an API, it means the AI can look at your real-time financial data, combine it with the field reports coming from the job site, and instantly analyze how a scheduled delay will impact your overall company cash flow.
So it's synthesizing data from the field and the back office in real time.
Exactly, and it's doing it securely. What is so powerful about this is that it provides tremendous leverage. A project manager using a system like this isn't spending 4 hours a day hunting through nested folders for a specific permit or manually typing up field notes into daily logs and meeting summaries.
The busy work is handled?
The AI surfaces the risks, the schedule delays, the budget variances, the RFI assistance based on historical context, and then the project manager applies their human expertise to solve those high-level problems.
They can manage significantly more projects.
And much larger budgets, because that administrative friction is just gone. That partnership where the machine processes the data transparently and the human makes the strategic high-stakes decisions is the exact dynamic the regulators want to see.
It really is a complete paradigm shift. We're moving away from looking at AI as a cool party trick or a shiny new gadget to show off to clients.
We really are.
We're moving into an era where AI is a heavily regulated, heavily documented, but incredibly powerful core business engine.
And looking at all these sources, connecting the impending EU regulations, the global mandates like we see in Singapore, and the capabilities of these new compliance-ready platforms, it brings me to a final thought I want you to consider.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the bigger picture here?
Something that goes beyond just winning bids or avoiding fines. Think about the concept of liability and insurance.
Oh, wow.
We've spent this whole time talking about contractors and regulators, but what happens when the massive commercial insurance companies that underwrite job site risk catch up to this legislation?
Because they always catch up.
They absolutely do. If an AI system is actively influencing safety protocols, scheduling high-risk tasks, and monitoring compliance, that AI is taking on a massive amount of traditional liability.
That's terrifying, but true.
I think we are rapidly approaching a world where commercial insurance providers will demand to see your AI compliance audit before they will even write you a policy.
Just to get coverage.
Yes. Or even wilder will, an AI platform that's making safety recommendations eventually require its own form of a contractor's license or its own professional liability insurance policy.
That is wild.
The companies that have this documentation locked down won't just win bids, they might be the only ones who can actually afford to get insured.
Wow. Your AI needing its own liability policy. That fundamentally changes how we think about a tech stack. It's not just a tool anymore, it's practically a digital subcontractor.
Exactly.
That is a massive perspective shift and a perfect example of why August 2, 2026 is a date you simply cannot afford to ignore. Don't be the contractor scrambling when global regulations inevitably drop, insurance requirements change, and your tech vendors suddenly flip the switch on how your software operates. Storm is coming, but now you have the survival guide to get ahead of it.
You're ready.
If you found this deep dive valuable, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on right now. More importantly, take a second to share this with a colleague, a superintendent, or your executive team who needs to get ahead of this curve before it's too late. To learn more about the compliance-ready tools we discussed today and to dive deeper into the market intelligence yourself, you can head over to smartbusinessautomator.com. Thanks for spending your time with us, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.